welcome back to Miss Brown's Math Help. Today's lesson will be on the percent of change, okay? So we have just a little bit of notes that we need to take down into our notebooks just so we're able to understand what's going on throughout the lesson. And the first thing we need to write down is our formula. Whenever we see the words percent of change or percent increase, percent decrease, we're going to use our no-O formula, okay? The no-O formula is just N minus O over O times 100, okay? The N in the formula stands for new. The O stands for the old amount, okay? If we have a positive answer, it will be a percent increase. And if we get a negative answer, it's going to be a percent decrease. Okay, so go ahead and pause the screen and make sure you have this written down. And it'll make more sense as we go throughout the questions. Okay, so the way we're going to type our formulas in our calculators, okay, is just the way we see it. We're going to click this right here, this A over B, which gives me a fraction. Okay, we're going to say N minus O over O. Let me actually put it here. Over O times 100. You cannot forget that times 100. Okay, and then we're going to write N equals, enter O equals, just as such. Okay, so if you want to write this out in your notes as well, just so you know how to set it up in your calculators, go ahead and do so. All right, so now let's actually get to a question. Okay, in this question, it says the old amount is $10. The new amount is $6. What is the percent of change? Okay, it says percent decrease, which means it's going to be a negative number because the decrease is telling me it's going to be a negative number. So let's just see what happens here. It says our new amount, which is our N here, is 6. And our old amount, you see, it starts with the letter O here, is 10. Okay. So my percent decrease is 40%. Okay. So this question could have said, what is the percent decrease? Or it could have said, what is the percent of change? Okay. And if it just asked what the percent of change is, we would say a 40% decrease because our answer is negative. Okay. So as long as you can remember the formula no O times 100. When you see percent of change, percent increase, or percent decrease inside of a paragraph, same formula every time. No O. And you cannot forget your times 100, okay? Let's try another one, okay? All right. So let's read our question here. It says, Jessie went to Walmart and saw the PlayStation her son wanted went from being $450 to $299. What was the percent decrease in the price? So our key word here is percent decrease. That lets me know that I'm going to use my percent of change formula. N minus O, my no O formula. No, you see, N-O, no O. Okay. And I can't forget to times it by 100. Okay. So now we have to just figure out what does the N stand for and what does the O stand for again. The N stands for the new amount and the O stands for the old amount. So let's read this right quick and say, what's our new amount and which one is our old amount? Jessie went to Walmart and saw that the PlayStation her son wanted went from being $450 to $299. So it was $450. So that's going to be our old amount. And now the new price is $299. Can y'all use this formula, put it in your decimals, and try to get your answer on your own? If not, you can follow along with me. Okay. I'm going to first type out my formula. N minus O, no, O. And I can't forget my times 100. Okay, enter. N equals 299. O equals 450. Okay, so it was a 33.55 or 56% decrease. I say it's a decrease because look, my answer is negative. Okay, so the final answer would be a 30. You don't say negative 33. Okay, there's no positive or negatives that we put in there. Okay, if it's positive, it's a percent increase. If it's a negative answer, it's a percent decrease. So I'm not going to say it's negative 33. I'm going to say it's a 33% decrease. Okay, 33.6% decrease would be my answer. And once again, I say the word decrease because it's a negative answer. All right. See if you're able to actually do this one on your own. Pause my screen, read it, find out your new and your old amount, and try to put it in your calculator with your formula and then press play and see if you got it right. So I'm going to go ahead and read this. This year, in 2025, I have had 19 students in summer school. But in 2024, I had 42. What was the percent of change in the amount of students I have now compared to then? Keyword here, percent of change. So I know I'm using my no-O formula. So I'm going to go ahead and get my calculator out. Okay, and I'm going to type my formula in right quick. My no-O formula. I have N equals and O equals here. I have to find out my new amount and my old amount. So let me go ahead and do that. Okay. This year, which is now, I think that's my new amount. Okay. Last year was last year. That's my old amount. Okay. So my new amount is 19. So I'm going to say N equals 19. And my old amount was 42. So my O equals 42. So think about it. Is this a percent increase or a percent decrease? Look at your answer. It's negative. So the answer will be 54 point, that rounds to 0.8, 54.8% decrease. You see how I'm not saying negative 54 point blah, blah, blah. I'm using the word decrease at the end of my number because I'm not going to say the answer is positive or negative. I'm going to use the words increase or decrease. If it's a positive answer, it will be that number increase. If it's a negative answer, it will be that number decrease. Okay. Final answer is 54.8% decrease. Okay, let's do one more example together, but this time I want you to do it all on your own and press play when you're done and just see if you got it right. Okay, also write down if it's a percent increase or a percent decrease. Okay, so let me go ahead and read this. Kayla's boss gave her a raise. Her salary went from $375 to $450. What was the percent increase in her pay? My keyword is percent increase. So I know I'm going to use my no-O formula. So let me come over here and write it in my calculator. No-O times 100. N equals and enter O equals. So let's find out what my new amount and my old amount is. Okay, so if her salary went from $375 to $450, what's the new amount of her salary? She now makes $450. So that's our new one. And she used to make $375. So that would be her old amount. So now let's just plug our numbers into our calculators. N equals 450 and O equals 375. Okay, so our final answer would be 20%. You think it would be increase or decrease? It is an increase because our answer is positive 20. So the final answer would be 20% increase. 20% like that. And the word increase will be our final answer. Okay, thanks for joining us today. I will see you on the next video. Do not forget to like and subscribe. Bye-bye.